Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to something called the pin method. Now that might sound like some archaic fertility treatment, but actually it's all about drinking beer. Of course it is, why else would it be on this channel? And today we're going to test out the pin method with this. It is a can of O'Hara's Irish Stout, Nitro edition, and the clue is in the nitro. So what is it exactly we're trying to achieve? Well, what we're trying to achieve here today is the perfect pint of Nitro Stout using one of these. The Guinness NitroSurge unit. Now, I think you'll agree that these been around a bit now. We've seen a lot of them. However, there is one thing that's kind of evaded a lot of people, and that is how to use them with other cans properly. Now, I do need to give a shout out to my friend Chris of Chris's Beer Reviews for pointing me in the direction of this particular technique. And this technique really is just a solution to a problem. The problem is that most nitrogen charged cans, such as this one, are engineered basically to activate the nitrogen as soon as you open it, whether that's through a widget or through some other kind of philosophy, whether it's just overcharging with nitrogen, whatever. Pretty much any nitrogen filled can, with the exception of the Guinness NitroSurge cans, will have that effect. And if you're going to use a Guinness NitroSurge device on another can, you don't want that to happen. So what we're going to do now is release any nitrogen that's kind of sat in the top of the can and not in the beer, allow that to dissipate, and then once that's done, we'll be able to open the can carefully. All the nitrogen that we want will still be in the beer. We'll hook the NitroSurge device onto the top of it and hopefully pour a perfect pint. And I'll also tell you what this O'Hara's Stout is like, because to be honest, I've never had that before either. Rightio, apologies for the close-up, but I'm going to try and show you as best I can. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab this pin from over here, and as you can probably see, this is just, well, it's just a pin. It's a normal kind of ball-headed little pin. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to stick it in the top of the can, just off to the side, probably, I don't know, maybe just here, off to the side. We'll stick it all the way in, and then I'm going to very, very slowly take it out over the course of a couple of minutes. Good news for you is, though, I'm going to speed it all up so you don't actually have to wait. Probably good to blow any dust off the top of the can first. And now, well, fingers crossed, eh? So we're going to push. This might be easier with something like a thumbtack in hindsight, but here we are. The good news is I have pierced the can, but the bad news is I don't know how slowly I can let the gases out. Looks like we don't need to get the pin all the way in. I can just take pressure on and off. Okay, well, this isn't going to be as visual as I thought, but yeah, the pin's in. All I need to do now is let pressure off my fingers and, well, the nitrogen will come out, but I don't want it to all come out in one go, so I'm just going to very, very carefully. And what's happening while I'm doing this is I can hear little bits of kind of tiny splashes almost inside the can. What we're trying to do is avoid those, because that's what's basically activating the nitrogen in the beer. So we want to just try and get the sound of gas release, but without anything else. This is a method for a very patient person, and I'll be honest, I'm pretty thirsty right now. Okay, was that a success? Well, I guess we'll find out in a minute. The can now is squidgy. It was definitely rock hard before because of the pressure from the nitrogen. That's definitely all gone. I can't really show you the divot in the top. It's the tiniest little pinprick, but yeah, let's find out, shall we? I would, of course, be using a Guinness glass for this because, well, it should be good for any Nitro Stout, I guess. And now we're going to carefully open the top and hope that we don't get a big surge of nitrogen running through the beer. Okay, it's flat, that's what we like. Well, not normally, but this time. Okay, not used the surger for a while. So, I'm going to stick that on the top there. And I'm not going to do a two-part pour because, well, don't think it's probably needed in this particular case. There's probably not as much nitrogen in this as there is in the Guinness NitroSurge can, so we're gonna one pour it. Are we ready? Wishes luck, everyone. I mean, have no doubt about it, that is surging. Okay, it's about settled now, and I have to say, what a glorious looking pint. I mean, just, it looks creamy, it looks Maybe like I didn't clean my Guinness glass properly. Let's go for a different angle. But just look at it. I mean, it looks velvety. It definitely worked, is all I can say. The fact that you could see those ripples coming up, the fact it was a slow pour through the machine and it still worked, yes, we achieved what we set out to achieve. So the only question now is, well, how does it taste? First off, though, some aroma notes. And, I mean, Nitro Stouts do often tend to have this quasi-Guinness aroma about it. This is no different, but it's got this glorious light roast coffee note that just sits on the top and is just a bit more than you get out of a can of Guinness. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Let's give it a go, shall we? Cheers. That's a pub pint, or a pub 440ml, because it's not quite a pint, but you know what I mean? That has got just, I mean, just look at the head on it. It just wobbles. It's absolutely glorious. Nice, slick stout. It's not too thick, goes down well. It's creamy though, but that head is mind-blowing. That is absolutely top draw. Flavour-wise, this stout, the best way I can really describe this is like, well, like if Guinness cared, is what I'd say. Don't get me wrong, it's not the same, and I'm not trying to say that every Irish stout tastes like Guinness, because it doesn't. It is significantly different. But for the sake of someone like myself who's never tried it before, if you like Guinness Draft, you're gonna like that and some, because it's just got this nice, big, again, like the aroma, soft, sweet, roasted coffee thing that glides across the top. It's got that iron-forward mineral quality that you get out of a Guinness. The conditioning is 10 times what a Guinness can is, I'll be honest, when you pour it like that. And even the finish leaves you with this light roast coffee malt. It's not a complex beer. It is literally just base, generic, nitro stout, generic meaning Guinness, but just with a few extra layers. The conditioning's better. This coffee note runs all the way through. And to be honest, I'm kind of glad I didn't just review this beer as a standalone, because there's not a huge amount to say about it. It's very simple, but I kind of love it for that. It's absolutely delicious. That really is absolutely top tier. And thanks again, Chris, because the pin method, wherever I've put my pin, and now I'm going to stab myself with it. There we go. This one tiny pin, you can't even see it. Can you see it if I hold it up there? It's a tiny wand, look. And this tiny pin is just the thing to turn something that was already going to be a very good beer along to something that, to be honest, is absolutely sensational when used with your NitroSurge. So, yeah, big thumbs up. And to be honest, that really is all I've got to say about it. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe, if you would be so kind. And I'll catch you next time. Cheers.